So today's video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be talking about how to make your video transitions better. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to make your transitions look more better and a way to innovate on these transitions. Now, as you know, I like to do a lot of different transitions for a lot of different things, but I usually tend to, especially in camera transitions, plan it out ahead of time. So what you want to do is you want to kind of know the transition that you want to create if it's in camera. But what I'm going to talk about today is editing transitions. So I'm going to skip all the camera handheld transitions where you can whip the camera and all that type of stuff. I'm going to move it into the editing suite and tell you how to do different creative transitions for different things. Transition number one is the object keying transition. I don't really know the definition of what you call this transition. Let's just say you got a shot of you panning and someone walks across, or there's an object that's in the way, and as you're panning across, all you're going to do is you're going to go onto the transition effects tab. You're going to go on linear wipe, and what you're going to do is you're going to key out where the object is moving from. Go to before it even becomes in a frame, get the full square keyframing, make sure you click on track mask, and then just key the object out frame by frame until you get to the end of the clip. So what you want to do is you want to invert it and bring a clip underneath it. Now you can see that is transitioning into another clip seamlessly, and it's a very cool and creative transition that you can do. Transition number two. Now I've done this a few times and I've told you guys a lot about it. It all depends on the project that you're filming, but let's just say you got a shot of the eye. It's a simple effect. All you're going to do is drag the clip that's going to be transitioning into on top of the eye clip. Make sure you bring the opacity down so you can see what you're doing. Key around the eye, and then from here all you're going to do is just go frame by frame. Let's just say you want it 10 frames, you don't want it too long, and you just toggle in the keying. Make sure it's done well, and what you want to probably do is obviously in post is zoom in on the eye. So you want to do this before you start keying, just to note. And like I said, once you've done the keying and you've adjusted the size of it as the eye's zooming in, all you're going to do is go to start of the top clip, the clip that you're going to be transitioning into. Bring the opacity down to around 30, and as it's zooming into the eye, just bring the opacity up a bit by bit. Or what you can do is just go to the end of where the transition is going to be happening, bring the opacity up to 100%, and that's it done. Transition number two. Now you've probably seen this on a lot of Sam Calder stuff or a lot of other like creative YouTubers that are out there. It's where an object door or something opens and then it shuts. Now a way to do this, you can do it video format or you can do it photo format. Usually people do it in hyperlapse just because it's easier to do. Now I'm just going to show you how to do the actual transition. I'm not going to show you a full extensive way of doing it and tracking and all this sort of stuff. I'm just going to tell you how to do the transition, how to move the object up and back into position, and then obviously you can implement that with your videos or hyperlapse. It's just the same principle. You're just going to have to key the transition. That's the only thing that you'll have to do if the object's moving. So let's just say I've got a picture of a door or some sort of crate. First of all, you want to duplicate the clip, so duplicate the photo, mask out the crate or the door, whatever it is you're masking out. Bring that up so it's out of the shot, and then what you want to do is go 10 to 15 frames in front and then bring the clip down. So what you want to do is you want to bring the whatever clip you're going to be transitioning out of on the bottom layer of the two. Nest those two clips, not the drone shot, just nest the two clips where the transition is going to be happening. This now gives you the opportunity to zoom in and zoom out. So what you want to do is you want to start with the clip zoomed in. What you want to do is go to the end of where the transition is going to be happening and click back to normal position, so 100%. And this just creates that cool transition where it's like panning out into a different clip and then the door shuts. So then it looks like it's cut out the clip that you just transitioned from. It's a pretty cool transition, to be honest. So transition number four, it's not really transition, it's more of an effect, but you can class it as a transition because you are transitioning into another scene or another shot. So let's say you have a clip and you want to then change the scenery or change the shot. A good way and a creative way of doing this, which I've also done in one of my tutorials, is have some sort of object in the next clip that you're going to be transitioning into, fly into that clip, and then that allows you to then do some sort of flash effect which then is going to transition you into the next scene or the next shot. So let me explain a little bit. go to the clip that you're going to be transitioning into. So not the first clip, the second clip that you want to create the transition into. Go to start of the frame of where it's going to continue the video from. So obviously it depends on where you want this video to continue from. Go off to the start of the frame, screenshot a photo of that frame, and then bring that into the editing suite, bring it on top of the first clip. And what you're going to do is you're going to key out a certain object in that photo. Now you've got your object keyed out, bring it out of position. You're going to want this to be short, a short transition, so make sure it's like 10 frames to 15 frames max. Key it and then bring it halfway in, so let's just say 8 frames in. Do normal position, so click the reset button and it'll key it back to its original position and original scale if you're scaling it. This now gives another 8 frames of it being in the shot before it transitions into the next shot. This just so the audience can see what's actually happening and the transition is not happening too fast for people to be like, what's just even happened? So let these 8 frames then play out, and as it's getting near to the end, so let's just say 3 frames near to the end, you want to go to the bottom clip, so the video clip that it's on, cut that, and what you're going to go on is go on channel and go on invert. Bring the invert to the bottom layer of the video, not on the screenshot, on the actual video clip on the bottom. So if you play the video out now, you can see the object's coming into the shot, it flashes, and then it's transitioned into the actual shot where the screenshot came from, if that makes sense. It sounds a bit confusing, but hopefully the video kind of helps you understand what I'm trying to get at. And transition number 5 is the most simplest transition you can do, and a lot of people do it. Zooming into shadows and zooming back out, and it's in a different scene. It has to match the shadow level, it has to make sense in order to do this. A lot of films do this and a lot of music videos do this. You don't want it to zoom in too much because it'll just look weird. You want to have 2 set shots. It's only going to work if you have 2 dark shots. And like I said, these transitions tend to happen if you plan it ahead. But if you're not planning ahead and you're like, well, I want to get creative with it, these are just some suggestions you can do. Find a shadow spot. Once it's getting near to the end, zoom into it pretty quickly, maybe 10 frames. And then same again with the next clip you're going to be transitioning into. Start with that zoomed in. So scale it to around the same scale, or even more if you need to, just so it fits the previous clip. Key that, key the positioning, move 10 frames in to the next clip, and then just click it back to the original place and it'll do its own keyframes. That just creates a nice zoom into the shadows and then zooming out of the shadow of the next clip. It's a very simple transition, but if it's executed well, then it looks smooth and it looks cool. That's it for this video. All these transitions was based on only editing, where there was no planning needed. Like I said, planning is key with filmmaking, and if you want to execute something well, you always want to plan in advance, just because everything runs so much more smoothly then. But if you're just shooting freely and you're making like, let's just say a travel video, and you kind of don't know how you want it to look, you're just filming all the creative and cinematic stuff, and you want to get creative in the editing suite, then that's some transitions you can do. I hope this helps, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. The way to explain these transitions were pretty hard, so I hope you kind of got the gist of what I was trying to get at. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.